Okay, let's create this multiple activity application. To do that, we're going to start by creating a new project. We're going to add some widgets to the main activity. We're going to create an additional activity with some widgets. We're going to code the main activity, and then we're going to code the second activity, and then we're going to run it. Hopefully by now you've done this a couple times. You know how to do this. We're going to go ahead and say start a new Android Studio project. Go ahead and grab this empty activity. Say next. Once again, we're going to call this our multiple, multiple activity. And if hopefully you got this right the last time, edu grcc, your grc login, and then it automatically puts multiple activity in there for us. And notice it's little letters and no space. And then I'm saving mine on my documents under a folder called Android Studio Projects. Right here it is, just like this, okay? And it automatically puts that into, this time with capital letters, but no spaces. Make sure it's in Java. Make sure you're using API 15. Go ahead and hit finish. Okay, little things are whirring around here. All kinds of stuff's happening. Chug, 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 okay? And finally, you should end up with this screen right here, okay? Here's our main activity. Here's our main activity Java. Here's our activity main XML, which says what we want on our activity, okay? I'm going to take and slide this stuff around a little bit so I get a little more real estate, a little more area to see. Okay, and then in here, I can actually hold my control key down with my cursor in the middle here, and I can roll my mouse. I can make it just a little bit bigger yet so I can see just a little bit better. Wonderful. If you look at our instructions, okay, where it's somewhere is here, there we go. It says I want to take and add, okay, a text view, an edit view, a button, and a button, okay. The text view ID is going to be text view title. Text, this is going to be an edit text city, and this is going to be a button SEC for second activity, and this is going to be a button weather, okay. Let's go ahead and add those. Okay, text. First of all, we got a text view. We got this text view right here. Let's use that one, okay? But just get rid of this anchor right here. And to do that, we just click right here and that gets rid of it for us, okay? Good. Then we want to put a text, and we want to put a plain text edit in there this time like that. Okay, and then go back up to common because we're going to add a button and a button like that. Once again, we got to anchor these to each other, okay? I'm going to anchor this one to that text view. I'm going to anchor this one to that edit view. I'm going to take and anchor this one to this button. Come on, it didn't quite take. There we go. I'm going to anchor this to the bottom like this. Okay, I can take and drag things around a little bit now if I want. Get that hello world. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to drag out of there. Come on, go down about right there. Something like that. These don't have to be real pretty. These first few are just kind of silly little exercises, so don't worry about if they aren't quite perfect. That's fine. Okay, now we have to anchor these to the sides, okay? You can select them like this, or you can actually select them like this by clicking on these if you want to, too. This one's already anchored to the sides. Let's go ahead and anchor this one to the side. 0. Putting 0 in there once again takes and it centers them, okay? And so no matter no device, how wide your device is, it will take and center that for you like that. And we can grab this last one here, do the same thing with that. Come on, click. There we go. That. Wonderful. Now let's take and name some of these, okay? This top one here, let's call that one text view title like that. And hit enter and enter again. That'll do that for us. Grab the second one down. Let's make this edit text city because we're going to put a city in there in time. Enter, enter. This button, go ahead and call that button. It's going to be going to our SEC, our second activity, SECACTIVITY, like that. Enter, enter, grab that button. And that's going to be, rather than 2, we're going to say it's going to be called button, button weather. Like that. Okay, hit enter, and that will take that value in. Okay, rather than saying button, let's change the text for button. I'm still selected here. And let's just type in weather there. Like that, and it'll show up in that button. Grab this button here, and let's take and change that one to second activity. Like that. Enter, it takes. Go ahead and put Grand Rapids in here as default, okay? With a space in between it, okay, because it's necessary. Hit enter, it shows up there. And let's go ahead and this top one here, let's make this one say main activity. Because when we flip around back and forth, you'll be able to see which activity you're currently in. Wonderful, that named all those things. Let's go ahead and add another activity now, okay? To do that, this line right here under Java, yours is going to say your username, your gRCC username, hopefully. You're going to right-click on that line. Don't right-click on main activity, but this line right here, and say a new activity, and an empty activity right there. Click on that. We're going to call this, rather than main 2 activities, call that one second. With no spaces, okay, and say finish. And there we go, it added it right here, and it also adds all of our tab. Here's the code, and here's actually the XML, it explains what it is. Let's add some stuff to this one too. Okay, let's see, let's go down here and see what I told you to do. Whoop. Oh, yeah. Let's try that again. There we go. Drag it down, okay. We're going to have a text view right here. We're going to have another text view right here. And we're going to have a button. Top text view is going to be called text view title, text view city, and button exit, okay. Let's go ahead and add those things, okay. Text view right there. Text view right there. Button right there. Just like that. Once again, we have to anchor these. Anchor this one to the very top. Anchor this one to the text view above it. Anchor this button to the text view above it. And put one down the bottom. There we go, just like that. And then I'm going to take and drag these around a little bit, like this, and like this, and like this. Wonderful. Let's give these things some names. Oh, wait, no, we have to take and anchor them to the side, don't we? Click on this, 0. Click on this, 0. There's another way to do this. We might do that next time, do it a different way, but that's okay. This is the easy peasy way. And that button down there, there we go, anchor him to the sides, just like that. Now we're done with that business, okay? Now let's go ahead and give these things some names. This is going to be text view title again, like that. And this one's going to be text view city. Yep. Forgot to hit enter that time. Enter, enter, and our button's going to be called button. It's going to be exit, because it's going to get us back to the main activity. Let's do that. Let's put in their exit right there like that. It's nice. And our text view here is going to say nothing, okay, because we are going to, Grand Rapids is going to pop up in there in time, okay. And then this text view up here is going to say second activity. Just like that. Wonderful. We're ready to code. Okay, let's go into our main activity.java. Now, if you think about this, what's going to happen, let's go to a picture here. Okay, oops, right down there. What we're going to do is we're going to click on this button, okay. Excuse me, I'm in the wrong button. Let's go to the right buttons here. Here we go. This button right here, okay, this is a text view. I can be able to type in Grand Rapids or any city I want later on, okay? This button right here is going to get us to this new activity, and this button here is going to show us a weather in a browser, okay? Let's do it. Okay, here we go. First of all, we got to react to buttons, okay? And this first button, it's going to launch our second activity, okay? So let's say LAUNCH second activity. Okay, TY. Notice how I put 2 slashes in the front? That's what they call remarks, and I can put stuff in here that I want to remember, and it doesn't execute it, okay? It's just there for my information. We're going to create an instance of a button, okay? A button, we're going to call this button, and this is going to be second SEC activity. You can call it anything you want, but I like to keep the same thing as what I called them in the activity, okay? And that's going to be equal to, and I have to cast this as a button right there, and then I can find it in my capital R.ID. Where is my button? The second activity right there, semicolon, okay? And then I want to take and do something with that button. I want to say button second activity dot set on click listener. Remember that? We did that last time. Say new and a capital V and hit enter, and it pops in our code for our on click method, okay? What are we going to do in here is create an intent, okay? An intent, once again, is just a way to, let's see, get to another activity, okay? And we're going to call this a little intent. That's the name of it, okay? Notice I got an error here because it doesn't know what it is. If you put your cursor on there, click on that, hit Alt-Enter, what it's going to do, it's going to take it and add it to our imports right there, see? Just like that. Put that in there for us. What imports is a bunch of extra libraries. We don't want to carry all this baggage of all the libraries with us, so what we do is we just add them as needed. In this case, we're adding the class intent. That's going to be equal to a new intent. Okay, and the intent is going to be a get application context like that. And what do we want? We want to get our second activity. Right there it is, dot class, okay? And so it's okay. What we want to do is we got to actually show this other activity. That's what get application context means. So when we click on this button, it's going to show that, okay? Now, there's one thing we want to do before we do that. We want to get the information out of our edit text. So therefore, we have to create an instance of edit text. Right there it is. We're going to call it edit text. And it's city, isn't it? Okay. Is equal to and that edit text right there, edit text. And then find right there, capital R.ID. edit text right there, semicolon like that. And now what we want to do is we want to capture that, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to create a string object, okay, which will hold that city for us, okay? And that's going to be equal to whatever's in our edit text, okay? Dot get text, right there it is. And then we have to say dot to string because Android Studio is very particular about its types of variables, okay? Sorry we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about that, but yeah, this is a variable right here of string type, and this is the name of it, and we can store this value in here for us to use later on. Okay. Now let's do something with our intent, okay? Intent, we created that intent already, and we can say, okay, intent, let's put extra with you, dot put extra right there. And what are we going to do? We're going to send it something. We're going to call it pass city, okay? And later on, we're going to be able to refer to it as that. We're going to send it city, just like that. So now we're actually sending this city to this activity that we're going to open. And now we just go ahead and say start activity. Right there. I got to type it right. S-T-A-R. There we go. Start activity. And which activity do you want to start? It's called intent right here, okay? Just like that. and that will take and run that for us, and we'll pass that city for us. Now, what we also want to do is we want to take and we want to launch this web browser with weather. Okay, it's quite similar. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this piece of code right here because it's so similar. We're going to create an alias for this other button. Okay, and rather than calling this second activity, we're going to say button weather. And then make sure you also change this down here because we don't want to send it that. We want to send it the weather right there. Okay, we want to refer to that button. And now here we can say button weather dot set. Right there it is. And a new and a capital V, enter. It types all that code in there for us, okay? What we want to do here is we want to take and we want to find the weather for Grand Rapids. So once again, we got to, let's grab this right here. These two lines right here. Copy those because we want to take what's in that edit text, okay? And we want to take and we want to open a web browser with that in. Now, one thing we have to do here is that web browser doesn't like spaces. If it has a space in it, we have to replace it with a minus. So let's do that. Let's say city ity is equal to city dot replace, okay? And we can say quote space quote, okay? And replace that with a quote minus quote, okay? And that fixes that. And so what that does, I'll make a little remark here for myself. Grand Rapids with a space is now equal to, GRAND minus Rapids, like that, okay? Which the URL, the web page likes, okay? Now what we want to create is we want to create a URL. They call them a URI here in Android Studio, okay? And what that is a way of saying, okay, this is a web address and open it like a web address. We're going to call it URI. It's going to be called web address. Just like that. It doesn't know what URI is. Just fix that a minute. Click on that. Hit Control Enter, or Alt Enter. I'm sorry, Alt Enter. And that will get you imported URI so it knows what URI is. And that's equal to a URI and then a, I'm looking at my code here because I forget off the top of my head, dot parse. Okay, well, I put a comma in there. It's supposed to be a period. Okay, and what are we going to parse? We're going to parse. Go back to this instructions here because I wrote it right in here for you, okay? This line right here so that you don't make a mistake. Let's see where we code the main. We got that done right here. Oh, I put this in the wrong spot. It's actually, I'm going to move that for you, okay? It's going to show up in a different spot. Grab this right here. Okay. We're going to take and we're going to paste that in here just like this. We should have a quotation mark. It didn't take the quotation marks, okay? Replace those with quotation marks. Something funny happened there, but that's okay. And then I'm going to put a parenthesis at the end of that and a semicolon like that. Wonderful. Okay, once again, make sure that this is correct, okay? Otherwise, it won't work. It can be just like this because that is the web address. I got an empty parenthesis sitting right there, okay? Wonderful. So now we got the URI. Now what we can do is we can take and we can say, okay, let's make an intent, okay? Intent, just like we did before. And that's equal to a new intent. And this time we're going to put in, create an intent of action. Action view right there, okay? Comma, and then send it our web address. Just like that. So what that does, an action view is actually says, okay, open up a web browser, and then of course open it up with this web address that we're sending it. Now it's possible that you might send it a bad address, okay, and we don't want your program to crash. So let's put a little if statement in there to catch that, okay? And if we say if intent dot resolve activity, okay, and inside there we're going to say get package manager right there, okay? If that, now make sure you put your cursor right there, okay? If that's not equal to null. In other words, if it does work, okay, open curly brace. That's actually a shift the character just to the right of the P on your P character on your keyboard. A curly brace, hit enter, that will put another one down there for you, and then go ahead and start activity. Right there, just like that. And then what are we going to start activity? We're going to start once again our intent, just like that. Wonderful. Good, so that's all the code we need for our main. Now let's go ahead and code our second activity. That's going to be a lot less work. Okay, we've got to start out by creating once again. Let's put some space in here. Put a little comment in here. Okay. First thing we want to do is we're going to set this text view to past value. Okay, like that. And so what we're going to do is we have to create a text view, and we're going to call this text view, it's called city, is equal to a text view, and then a find r dot, whoops, capital R, and then it's text, let's see, it's text view city right there, like that, semicolon. And now let's get a string, create another string again. City is equal to our intent dot get extras dot get string, and what get string? We called it past city, didn't we? Just like that, semicolon. And that's how we received that. We received it. We sent it right here as past city. And now we're going to receive it as past city right there. Okay. And now let's go ahead and put that in that text view. Dot set text right there. And put city in there, okay? And that will show up in there for us. And now we also want to code that button, okay? Of course, you're going to create another button again here. And we're going to call it button exit like that. Is equal to cast it as a button. Turn to see a lot of stuff we do over and over again, huh? And what we're going to do, capital R, whoop, dot ID, dot, and this is going to be button, let's see, exit right there. Okay, semicolon. This is an easy one. First of all, we got to say button exit dot set on click listener, and a new and a capital V. And here all we got to do is say finish. Just like that. Semicolon at the end. Go ahead and run it. Well, mine worked. Hopefully yours did too. What's going to happen is you're going to click on this button here. This is going to pop up, and whatever is in here is going to show up here. Now you can change this to Coopersville or Holland or something like that, okay? But whatever you do, it's going to pop up in here because we're sending it, we're passing it. When you press this exit button, it runs back into this activity. If we push this, it automatically shows a browser with the current weather of whatever's in here. However, you know it's only going to do things that are in US and Michigan because that's what our URL calls out. Might leave some notes on how to extend that and make that work a little bit more for you, okay? Hopefully it worked for you. If not, give me an email.